From Ohio Stadium on the campus of the Ohio State University in Columbus, Ohio, it's Ohio State football. Today, the Ohio State Buckeyes battle the Wisconsin Badgers. Hello, everybody. I'm Jack Kramer along with Paul Warfield as we get set to bring you all the play-by-play in color of today's game between the Buckeyes and their 10th game opponent, the Wisconsin Badgers. Paul, the Buckeyes are really on a roll. They've won 5 straight in the Big Ten. I know you feel that this game today is very important for the Buckeyes for more reasons than one.
Well, Jack, there's the familiar scent of roses in the air, but more importantly, the Big Ten title will be at stake next week when the Buckeyes travel to Michigan. And this Wisconsin team is very much like the University of Michigan team. Strong running game offensively and sturdy defense on the other side of the ball.
Wisconsin has won just one in the Big Ten, but the game has some significance for them, too.
Well, the Badgers are actually 4-5 overall this year, Jack, and they have a chance if they win this week against the Buckeyes and win the finale to finish with a 6-5 record on the year. And for the past 4 years, Wisconsin has had winning records.
Well, the Badgers have certainly been a stumbling block for the Bucks the last 4 years, having won 3 games in the last 4 seasons. Last year winning at Madison by a score of 16-14. Teams are on the field. We're set for the kickoff of today's game between Ohio State and Wisconsin.
Broadcast and production of Ohio State football is provided in part through a funding grant from City Loan Bank of Lima, member FDIC, with offices throughout the state of Ohio.
It is a rain-soaked Ohio Stadium. It has rained all morning, but the good news is, well, a few moments ago, the sun peeked out for the first time today. As we near the start of today's game between Wisconsin and Ohio State, the Buckeyes will receive the opening kickoff. The Bucks have run up 169 points in the last 5 games and have limited the opposition to 83. The Bucks 8-1 overall, 5-1 in the Big Ten. Badgers overall 4-5, just the reverse in the conference of 1-5. Buckeyes lead this series 40 wins to 10 for Wisconsin. There have been 4 ties. This is meeting number 55 between the Buckeyes and the Badgers, who are coached by Dave McClain. Wisconsin won a 2-point game last year in Madison. Buckeyes attempt today to extend the nation's longest home win streak to 21. The Badgers, the last victors here at Ohio Stadium, 6-0. The last opponent to down the Buckeyes here in Columbus 3 years ago. There was only 1 touchdown scored, and it was a rainy day. Wisconsin won the toss, deferred choice until the start of the second half. So the Badgers will kick off to start the game. Paul, we'll get to see the Buckeyes offense first. Jim Carsados has certainly rounded into an outstanding quarterback.
He's having just an outstanding year, Jack, doing all the things that Earl Bruce had hoped that he would do as the quarterback this season, taking great leadership ability and transforming that into scores on the scoreboard, doing the things that he has had to do, throwing the football that has made Ohio State a much stronger passing team this year in the absence of Keith Byers. But nevertheless, of course, the ground attack has come along in the recent weeks, and having 2 strong runners back there in John Woolridge along with Vince Workman. So Jim Carsados has been very instrumental and perhaps been a little bit unsung this year because so much credit has been given to so many of the other fine quarterbacks in the Big Ten, but Carsados certainly ranks up there with them.
Oh, he sure does. Carsados himself has wanted to have been recognized as not just a thrower, but a complete quarterback. And he has certainly been just that for Ohio State. As Sapicki kicks off to start the contest, and it lights 9 yards deep in the end zone, and the Buckeyes will start 1st and 10 from the 20.
The offensive line for Ohio State, Roy Graves at left tackle, Jeff Uhlenhake at left guard, Bob Maggs, the outstanding center, Jim Gilmore will be at right guard, Larry Cotterman at right tackle, Ed Taggart will be the starting tight end today. Chris Carter, the split end, and Mike Lanise will be the flanker.
Gilmore, Graves, and Lanise, seniors among that bunch, and they'll certainly be missed next year. Cooper starts the game off by barreling for 4 over left guard.
Stop by Charlie Foley.
The makeup of the backfield, Jim Carsados will be at quarterback. John Woolridge gets to start at tailback today. And Big George Cooper will be operating at the fullback post.
Second down and 6 yards to go for the Buckeyes following the 4-yard advance by Cooper. Hutchison, the tight end, on the left. Johnny Woolridge springs it to the outside. Woolridge for 8 quick yards, a first down, Buckeyes. Pete Noka, the freshman free safety, on the tackle. Badgers defensively along the line of scrimmage have Brannaman, Boykins, and Peterson. Linebackers are Reed, Raditz, Foley, and Jordan. And the secondary people are Odoms, Johnston, Noka, and Spencer. First down for Carsados and the Buckeyes. We've played 1 minute. George Cooper looking for a crack. He netted 2 yards on the play to the 35. Tim Jordan, the 220-pound senior linebacker for the Badgers, made the stop on George. Cooper has rushed the football for more than 500 yards this year. He's carried it 105 times, and last year he carried it for 11. Who would have thought George Cooper, coming into game 10, would have rushed 100 times this season?
Well, he's picked up his pace in the last 3 or 4 ball games and has really become a welcome addition to that run game as far as the Buckeyes are concerned.
Cooper is rolled down after a gain of 1. Sets up 3rd and 7. 13 minutes left, first quarter. Buckeyes have a possession down coming up.
A little bit out of character for the Buckeyes, who actually have been throwing the football much earlier in the previous ball games, to come out and play it as conservatively, but we're still in the first series, and perhaps Earl Bruce will start to loosen it up right here.
Carter is split 5 yards right. Lanise 12 yards to the right. Play action. Carsados airs it out for Carter. Carter had it. Troy Spencer was there, but it was catchable. Carter had it for an instant, then coughed it up. 4th down coming.
That's something that we're seeing more and more of. Jim Carsados going for the deep ball, and when you have a receiver like Chris Carter who can get open time and time again, as he is open here, goes up high for the pass, actually is in his hands, but cannot hold on to it. Troy Spencer, defending on the play, was beaten, should have been caught, but did not catch it in that instance.
Tupa's a 43.6 yard per kick punter this year. And he soars this one down to the 25-yard line. Armand Trout looking for an avenue, and he gets to the 32. And the Badgers will initiate their first drive from that point. 12-17 left in the opening period, no score. 40-yard kick by Tupa, an 8-yard return. Tupa was about the Buckeyes' biggest offensive weapon last year up at Wisconsin when he averaged 48 yards per kick. Howard is the quarterback. Draw play. Armand Trout's got about 8 or 9 yards. Armand Trout, the 6'1 junior fullback, tackled by Spielman. Fred Ritter starts at left tackle defensively for Ohio State today. Darrell Lee at the other tackle post. Eric Cumro, an outside linebacker. Byron Lee also starting at an outside linebacking position. Larry Kolick is the 5th Buckeye linebacker in the middle. 2nd and 2. Armentrout trying to pop it to the outside, but he's wrestled down. A neat defensive play by the Bucks. Derek Eisenman, the freshman from Fremont, and he was assisted by Larry Kolick. Chris Spielman at a linebacking post for the Bucks, along with Thomas Johnson. Sonny Gordon's in the secondary with William White, Ray Jackson, and Terry White. Third and 2 for Wisconsin. Whistles blow, and the Badgers will be stalled momentarily as the Buckeyes have elected to call a timeout.
Jack, the Badgers are showing right away their trademark, which is a strong running game, running with Armentrout. And that offensive line of the Badgers is Paul Gruber at offensive tackle, Jansen, Schick, Lancey, and Derby at the other offensive tackle. The receivers, James Ross, tight end Scott Sharon, and the wide receiver, Tim Fullington. And the backfield is quarterback Mike Howard, Joe Armentrout, who was a doubtful starter but made it into the lineup today, and tailback Larry Emery.
Wisconsin coach Dave McClain assisted Woody Hayes in the year 69 and 70, and that's when Earl Bruce was also here as an assistant to Woody. He's a Bowling Green graduate, a native of Upper Sandusky, Ohio.
Really has done a fine job with the Wisconsin football program, giving the Badgers consecutive winning seasons, 4 consecutive 7-game win seasons.
3rd and 2 from the 40. It appears to be a Badger first down as Emery slid forward for about a 4-yard pickup. Spielman wrapped him up, but it's a first down Badgers just across the 43. Larry Emery, the 3rd best rusher in Big Ten games this year. On the season, nearly 1,000 yards, 8 touchdowns.
Wisconsin missed his performance very badly last year. He did not play against the Buckeyes, but he returned from a knee injury and is having an outstanding year. He says he's actually faster now, and he ran a 4.40 before, so he's running about 4.3 now, Jack.
Badger showing 3 wideouts on the first down play. Howard with time, hits his tight end Scott Sharon. A pickup of about 6, tackled by Mike Key, the senior linebacker from Eastmoor, who's seeing playing time early in this game against Wisconsin today.
Passing game has not been a strong suit of the Wisconsin offense this year, primarily because this man, number 7, Mike Howard, has been injured with a shoulder separation of his throwing shoulder, but he is starting to round out in form. That time he hit Scott Sharon, number 89, very nicely, and perhaps he's looking for a big day here today, Jack.
We played 5 minutes, no score. 2nd down 4 for Wisconsin. Counter play for the Badgers, nets about 3 or 4 more yards, short of a first down. Key again on the tackle, aided by Chris Spielman. A pickup of about 3 for Emery.
Badgers like to put the ball into Emery's hands as much as possible. As you can see, he's a quick darting little back, very strong in the lower torso though, and outstanding rusher, having rushed for over 900 yards thus far, looking for that 1,000-yard season.
Badgers need 1.5 yards for a first down. Split backs. Howard wants to throw for it. Catch is made. It's a first down. A gain of 4 to the Buckeye 45 as Armentrout, the sure-handed fullback, made the reception. He's averaging 10 yards per catch this season.
And he takes the fake slides out of the backfield, and as Howard rolls to his left, he will pull up and hit Armentrout. Armentrout, the 2nd leading pass receiver on this University of Wisconsin team, is the man that they look for in short yardage situations and attempting to pass.
First down Badgers at the OSU 45. Armentrout did get the handoff. He had to clutch it a second time. No gain on the play as the Buckeyes bottled that one up at the line of scrimmage. 2nd and 10. Byron Lee and Mike Key in there on the tackle for the Buckeyes, who have played Jim Davidson already on defense today, the freshman from Westerville. We've seen Steve Hill in for Terry White some on defense, and Mike Key is playing in place of Thomas Johnson here in the early going. Armentrout of Wisconsin, perhaps the player shaken up. He missed last week's game with a leg injury.
Well, he's been out, Jack, actually for just about 2 weeks. He's been hobbling around and was unlikely starter today, but managed to start, and he's been a little bit under the weather, but he's a very versatile player for the Badgers. He leads, he's their second leading pass receiver, and of course he's their number 2 rusher right behind Emery. So a very versatile player, and one that the Badgers have missed in the recent weeks because he hasn't been in the lineup.
Well, the Badgers have moved the football here in the early going. Last year the quarterback was Howard, who completed 17 passes for about 160 yards, as he didn't throw for a big yardage on any individual toss, but with a lot of short stuff. He picked at the Buckeye defense, and combined with the running of Mark Harrison, the Badgers did a number on the Buckeyes this year, and so far we've seen Howard throw the short stuff, and he's combined it with the running of Armentrout and Emery here in the first portion of the initial quarter, as Earl Bruce looks on anxiously. Earl has split 6 games against the Badgers, winning 3 and losing 3. And his counterpart, Dave McClain, is now out on the field as the Badgers examine Joe Armentrout.
Armentrout has been down for a considerable period right now, and the Wisconsin trainers are working on him. They now apparently have him sitting up and still attending to him. Dave McClain going out on the field to show you his concern. As I said, Joe Armentrout is a player that means a lot to this University of Wisconsin Badger football team because of his great versatility. All right, here's the replay, and you see it was kind of a muddled handoff. Armentrout barely got the football from quarterback Mike Howard. Stacked up, Byron Lee, number 82 there. Also Chris Spielman, 30, Mike Key underneath the pile.
On 2nd and 10, the Badgers go with 3 wideouts. But before the play starts, Wisconsin wants a timeout. So this game beginning very slowly, as one of the Wisconsin wideouts saw something he didn't like and managed to get Howard's attention, who signaled for a timeout for Wisconsin.
Well, again, Jack, you don't like to expend those timeouts unless they're absolutely necessary, and not quite sure what that's all about. Usually it's the quarterback who walks up to the line of scrimmage and in most cases sees something that's a little bit mysterious to him. Rarely is it a wide receiver that makes that decision to call the timeout. But you were exactly right. James Ross, the wide receiver, number 26 on the far side, was signaling back to quarterback Mike Howard to call a timeout, and which he did do.
So each team has utilized a timeout, and we've played less than 7 minutes of the opening period. Howard in the pocket on 2nd and 10. Wide open is his short man. Very close to a first down, as Emery slipped downfield from his backfield spot.
Criticism last week of Mike Howard was that he saw the reads against the University of Minnesota, but he just wasn't executing the pass play. This time he does execute underneath the dropping zone defense of Ohio State. Dumps the ball off to Emery. Emery, who is brought down by Chris Spielman, who gets back from his zone coverage area.
Marvin Artley is in at fullback now. He's blocking for Emery, who's got the first down to the 34-yard line. Number 25, Emery, running over the right side. Had Marvin Artley, the freshman fullback, in front of him, who's in now for Armentrout as we take a second look at it.
Emery takes his pitch. He runs behind good, strong blocking of the right side of the Wisconsin line. Makes a fine cut at the line of scrimmage. Darrell Lee, 95, comes up to stop him along with Leach, number 11.
This Wisconsin offensive line, Paul, has people at 275, 277, 275, 285. Boy, they're huge.
Traditionally big offensive line that Wisconsin always employs.
The Buckeyes snuff out that running play. Darrell Lee and Larry Kolick smacked Emery down for a yard loss.
Darrell Lee, number 95, just shoots the gap, gets into the backfield very quickly. The offside trapping lineman cannot get him. Darrell Lee was into that Wisconsin backfield so quick and into Larry Emery before he could get started.
Second down and 11 for Wisconsin. This is Emery sprinting to the outside. He slipped down at the 32. That sets up 3rd and 8. 6.5 minutes left in the opening stanza. No score, Wisconsin moving. They've got a 3rd down coming up, Paul.
So far, the Badgers are 3 out of 3 in 3rd down possession or short yardage situations.
Buckeyes now have Holloman in there on defense. Iseman is in the game. Byron Lee is in. Spielman and Michael Key are in. Howard pumping. It is no good. In the hands of Fullington and then out. The wide receiver, Tim Fullington, number 20, leaped high to get it. And he should have caught the football.
No question about that. Tim Fullington got around on his curl-in pattern in good shape, but he did not concentrate on the football. The ball was thrown perfectly by Mike Howard. Now we're looking at Tim Fullington as he executes his pattern against William White. He takes him deep first, then comes underneath him. Now he's in a position, has William White screened off, goes high for the ball thrown right into his hands, but he just doesn't have the concentration. Incompleted pass. Wisconsin will have to go for the field goal.
Field goal try by Todd Gregory. It would be a 49-yarder. And he bangs it toward the uprights. It is good. So Todd Gregory, who was successful on field goals 3 times last year against the Buckeyes up at Madison, opens the scoring today. And Wisconsin leads 3-0 with 5 minutes and 52 seconds left in the first period. Gregory now 15 for 21 in the field goal department this year.
Wisconsin always employs a strong kicking game, both the PATs and field goal tries, but their punting game is always good and solid. So this is a solid ball club. Opening drive, Wisconsin, Jack, I think, did the things that they are capable of doing. The identity of this football club, strong run game, will supplement the run game with the pass, play action, short passes, much as they did a year ago. Buckeyes right now look a little bit lethargic, both offensively and defensively. And this is a very big game, and so they're going to have to get started because this is a very capable Wisconsin club.
Paul, the Buckeyes the last 2 weeks came out throwing the football, as you alluded a couple minutes ago. Badger drive finished off by Gregory's 49-yard field goal. Buckeyes certainly aren't playing at the emotional pitch at which they began the games the last 2 weeks.
You're absolutely right. Last week up at Northwestern in particular, I thought they did a good job coming out and taking the game away from the Wildcats right away. They have not started as fast here today.
The kickoff is pounded down the middle. Woldridge at the goal line. Here he comes behind a squadron of blockers. Woldridge was tripped up at the 27. Troy Spencer got a hand on him.
Johnny Woolridge receiving this ball about at the goal line. Looks like he's going to go places. Starts right up the gut. Gets good blocking. And right at this point, it looks like he's going to break through the crease. But number 17, Spencer, the fine defensive back for Wisconsin, gets an arm on him and brings him down.
Carsados, Cooper, and Wooldridge in the backfield. First and 10 Bucks. First down pass by Carsados to Taggart. He picked up 6. Tackle by Charlie Foley, the junior linebacker. Carsados, a 63% thrower.
Buckeyes going back to bread and butter stuff now. First down passing. Carsados reading the coverage right. Throws underneath the zone to the tight end Taggart. Taggart makes the catch. Short game and stopped by a number of Wisconsin tacklers led by Charlie Frawley.
Second down, a long 3 for the Buckeyes. Pitches to Wooldridge. First down and then some. As Wooldridge scampered for about 6 or 7. First down, Ohio State at the Buckeyes 45. Nate Odoms, the junior cornerback, made the stop.
Beginning to look more and more like the Ohio State offense now. Versatility of run and then to pass. The pitch to John Wooldridge going to the outside. Good blocking out there. As you see, he turns the corner completely unmolested and gets as much yardage as he possibly can before number 38, Nate Odoms, makes the stop.
Johnny Wooldridge with 649 yards on the season. His best game, 104. This is Wooldridge turning the corner for about 4 more yards, perhaps 5 near midfield. As we approach the 4.5-minute mark first period, Badgers lead 3-0. Again, Odoms made the tackle on Wooldridge.
John Wooldridge ran behind a nice armada of blocking led by Jeff Ulenake, number 68, and also George Cooper, number 44. John just fell right in behind all of that artillery and got 4 or 5 yards.
Cooper is twisted down behind the line of scrimmage. Excellent penetration by Lance Brannaman. The Badgers defensive tackle sets up third down.
Watch number 68, Lance Brannaman. Sam coming right across the line of scrimmage right there. He ties up George Cooper just as he gets the football. Nothing doing. Buckeyes now in a definite 3rd and possession situation.
3rd and nearly 7 for the Bucks. And Carter and Lalise are flanked to the same side, to the right. Out of your picture to the bottom of the screen. Carsados looking that way. Throws it high for Wooldridge.
Pass attempt for John Wooldridge.
Wooldridge was available. Carsados just missed the mark.
Jim Carsados right here dealing after the play action fake. Plenty of time. Ball kind of gets away from him. An errant throw by Carsados as he had Wooldridge out in the flat. However, a couple of Wisconsin defenders right up to defend in the area.
Tom Tupa will take the long snap back at his 35. And Tupa spanks a low kick. It's fair caught at the 20. A short Tupa boot of only 32 yards. And the Badgers have a first down just across their own 20. Well, we've seen the Buckeyes twice on offense, once on defense today, Paul. And certainly the inspiration level is not where it's been the last few weeks.
Well, they don't want this Wisconsin football team to get started because they could find themselves in for a long afternoon.
Draw play. This is the fullback, Marvin Artley, wedging out about 3 yards before Ray Holloman and Fred Ritter combined to make the tackle. Two minutes and 45 seconds left, first quarter, clock running. Hartley, who carried on the last play, rushed just 23 times coming into the game today. Second down, 8. Howard wants to pass. The catch is made. It's a first down. Scott Sharon, the 6'2" tight end, hauls it in for Wisconsin.
Play action pass here by Mike Howard, mixing his plays again, staying with the short high percentage passing and rifling it in to Scott Sharon right there, who makes the catch, gives Wisconsin another first down. Wisconsin is staying with its game plan, running, supported by good short play action passing.
Emery looking for an avenue, and he streaks forward for about 7 to the 41.
The bread and butter man carrying that football, Larry Emery, this time going to the right side, cutting up inside of blocking, slashing and making some good yardage and getting very close to first down territory.
Buckeyes got a taste of Mr. Emery's acceleration on that play, Paul.
Well, as I said, before the knee injury, he was a 4.4 guy. He said he's actually gotten faster, I guess, after rehabilitation. He now runs 4.3.
Emery again, first down to the 49. Mike Key and Sonny Gordon finally made the tackle.
This time it's Larry Emery taking the handoff, going left, following good blocking at the line of scrimmage. Paul Gruber, the left tackle, blocking well for him and opening up the way.
Jim Carsados warming up that throwing arm on the Buckeye sideline. Beyond the 48, it's a first down, Wisconsin, 1:15 left, opening period. This is Emery, gets a block, uses it nicely, picks up about 4 or 5 more. This big Wisconsin offensive line pushing the Buckeyes back. Emery with a slight hobble, and he heads to the Badger bench.
Well, that could be a serious blow for them. He's been their leading rusher, and as we said, closing in on a 1,000-yard season, out most of last year with an injury, knee injury, and so now they're out with him. He's out of the lineup for the time being right now.
Steve Vincey, a freshman, has checked in. Hartley is piled up at the line of scrimmage. Mike Key led the wave of scarlet-shirted Buckeyes. No gain. Third down coming up.
Hartley, the freshman ball carrier, gets nothing on this play as Mike Key really filled that hole very quickly. Number 30, he got additional help from several Buckeye defensive teammates, stopping the Wisconsin ball carrier, Marvin Hartley. No gain.
We will not see another play here in the first quarter. Seconds ticking down. That's it. That is the end of the first period from Ohio Stadium. It's Wisconsin 3, Ohio State nothing. We'll be back with more Buckeye football in a moment.
To the thunder of fireworks, ground was broken for Ohio State University's Wexner Center for the Visual Arts. The center will honor Harry Wexner, whose son Leslie Wexner donated $10 million to help build this unique facility.
The gift to the university is very much of a thank you to my friend, very much an expression of my confidence in the city, the state, the university.
The generosity of Leslie Wexner, enhancing the arts.
Broadcast and production of Ohio State football is provided in part through a funding grant from City Loan Bank of Lima, Ohio, member FDIC.
This is Jack Kramer with Paul Warfield at Ohio Stadium in Columbus. The Badgers lead the Buckeyes by a score of 3-0. We're seconds away from the start of period number 2, and the Badgers are successfully moving the football as we open up the second stanza. It's a possession down, 3rd and 5. For Dave McClain's Badgers, they must reach the 41.5. Howard will run for it now. He's got it to the 39.
Tackled by Greg Rogan. Steve Hill.
First down, Wisconsin.
Mike Howard shows you his running ability here. He really wants to throw the football in this situation, but good coverage in the Ohio State secondary. But he shows you his athletic ability as he really turns on the motor to get this necessary yardage for the first down. He is stopped by Greg Rogan and also Steve Hill on the play, but it is another Wisconsin first down.
Line of scrimmage, the Ohio State 39. Emery, who's back in, gets the call for maybe a yard. Larry Kolick, number 33, submarine to play for the Buckeyes. Dave McClain looking on as his offensive coordinator sent in the play.
Well, he's got to like what he's seeing thus far, as his ball club is doing exactly what he'd like for them to do, controlling the football, keeping Ohio State's offense off the field, and moving it down the field.
Second down and 9 for the Badgers. Two receivers split far left. Howard wants to throw for it. This is the tight end, Sharon, bolting down to the 19-yard line. As the tight end held up for a count or two after the snap and dragged over the middle, and he was free.
Buckeyes coming on the blitz. Chris Spielman right there, he's picked up. Mike Key trying to blitz, he's picked up. And then the receiver, Scott Sharon, really comes open, wide open. The Buckeyes went with the gambling defenses that time. They had to pay for it as Wisconsin picked up the blitz perfectly and made good on it with a big reception to Scott Sharon.
Hartley spins for maybe 3 yards to the 15. Mike Key stood him up right there. We approach the 13-minute mark, second quarter. Badgers lead by 3 and are trying to extend it.
This is perhaps the biggest offensive line that the Buckeyes have played against all year, Jack. Averaging close to 270 pounds. They can really muscle a team around, and that's what Wisconsin has done throughout the first quarter, and now in the early part of the second quarter, just muscle the Ohio State defense around the field.
Second down and 7. Badgers must reach the Ohio State 8-yard line for a first down. Emery cuts it back upfield inside the 10 near first down yardage.
Ground level shot on the flip to the opposite side of the Emery. He got a great block from Hallenberg, number 78, the right tackle of the Badgers. And he cut up inside of that block and made first down yardage, and the Badgers are really on the move now.
First and goal from the 8-yard line. Football resting right on top of the 8. Six-foot-4-inch junior quarterback Mike Howard. This is Emery. Holloman's on his back just across the line of scrimmage. Reginald Tompkins, number 6, is checked in for the Badgers with the offensive play. 11:50 left, second period. Buckeyes on the short end of a 3-0 score. Two receivers to the right, Fullington and Tompkins. Howard is looking that way, fires, it is broken up. Derek Eisenman leaped in front of the tight end. The ball was a little behind him. Eisenman swatted the football to the ground.
Howard is sprinting to his right. He's looking to the right. Now he will look back to the field toward the tight end. Great diving play by Derek Eisenman as he batted the ball away from the intended receiver. Touchdown saving play.
If he would have led the tight end properly, Paul, it would have been 6.
But we can't take anything away from Derek Eisenman, who made a great play himself.
He sure did. It is third and goal. Quarterback draw play. Howard gets down to the 1.5. That's been a big play for Wisconsin the last few years against the Buckeyes, that quarterback draw.
Well, it's a gutsy call down there, but Buckeye is certainly expecting a pass in this situation. Mike Howard sets up the throw, but then runs the quarterback draw. It looks like he's got pretty good blocking ahead of him right at this point. However, Ohio State gets defenders up in the area and stops him just shy of the 3-yard line. Right about the 2.5.
Wisconsin has expended timeout number 2. Boy, not only is this a big play coming up, Paul, I think the next 11 minutes are very crucial. The Badgers won the toss to start the game, elected to go on defense first. In all likelihood, they'll get the football to start the 3rd quarter. So if they can score here and keep the Buckeyes off the scoreboard, they really have the upper hand.
Well, that's a fine point. It looks like the game is going, the flow of the game is going exactly the way the Badgers would like to see it go. They're controlling the football, giving Ohio State very few opportunities to put its offense on the field. And the Badgers now look like they're appearing to go for the 3-pointer, but Ohio State will get the football in just a few moments or so. But nevertheless, the Badgers are putting points on the scoreboard and making Ohio State operate from a deficit.
Todd Gregory is on to kick a 19-yard field goal, and it's good. So the Buckeyes get a reprieve of sorts. The Badgers have to settle for 3 and lead now 6-0 with 11:04 left in the 2nd quarter, and have outplayed the Buckeyes by far greater than a 6-0 score so far.
Well, it is a little less pressure on the Ohio State offense, with the defense coming and rising to the occasion and stopping the Badgers and making them have to settle for the 3-pointer. The Buckeyes are only 6 points down, and certainly a touchdown will put them ahead in this ball game. But they have got to change the flow of this game. Wisconsin is taking too much time off the clock, and they're simply controlling all of the action.
Do you anticipate to see some more first down passes from Ohio State in this possession?
Well, I believe the Buckeyes are going to have to do the things that they've done in the last several games to make their offensive team very, very effective, and that has been more first down passing, the mix of the pass and the run together, and not just to do one at the expense of the other.
Well, just as they've done against the Buckeyes the last few years, the Badgers consumed a lot of clock on that last drive. Wow, Paul, over 7 minutes.
7 minutes, and the Buckeye defense has got to rise to the occasion. 7 minutes, 79 yards, 14 plays. Gregory ended it with a 19-yard field goal, but those drives have got to be reduced in terms of time of possession.
Gregory will kick off to Workman and Woldridge. It's Workman at the 4. He broke 1 tackle, managed to get to the 20. So the Buckeyes will start 1st and 10, trailing by 6 with 10:59 left in the 2nd quarter. And the fans want some action from Ohio State. Time of possession, Paul, very lopsided so far.
Thus far, as we said, Wisconsin is really dominating the action. They've had the football for about 14 minutes, and the Buckeyes, on the contrary, have had it only for 5 minutes.
Buckeyes with the wind at their backs. Carsados to throw, swings it out, and Woldridge dropped it. Screen pass has been an effective weapon for the Buckeyes in recent weeks, but not here.
Well, John Woldridge has been effective coming out of the backfield. This time, Jim Carsados leads him perfectly, but he doesn't get it done. His execution has been a little bit sloppy for the Buckeyes, and they're going to have to pick it up.
Once in this game, Woldridge was open. Carsados simply missed him. On that play, Woldridge again was available. Carsados hit him right in the hands. Johnny couldn't hang on. Woldridge on the sprint draw, slips to the outside for about 3 or 4. Maybe got 5 near the 25-yard line. Mike Boykins, the nose guard, and Pete Noka, the free safety, made the tackle. Taggart coming in with a crucial play. If the Buckeyes can't get 5 yards, they'll have to give up the football again.
Well, it's imperative that the Buckeyes do make a first down in this instance. And Earl Bruce has apparently called a timeout to talk over the situation, primarily because we're talking about possible field position. If the Buckeyes do not make a first down here, Tom Tupa will have to get off a big punt. And Wisconsin has shown that they have the ability to move the football. And when you start talking field position, if they get an advantage field position-wise, they're going to move it.
An unusual first half, Paul, in that these two teams have used 4 timeouts already. Each team has just 1 left.
That is unusual that the timeouts have been expended quite freely.
Those of you who'd like to drop us a note, tell us why you like our coverage of Ohio State football, please do. Just send it to Ohio State Football, WOSU TV 34, 2400 Olentangy River Road, Columbus, Ohio, 43210. We'd like to hear from you. 10 minutes, 50 seconds remain, second quarter. Buckeyes trail the Badgers 6-0. Ohio State is confronted with 3rd down and 5 from the Scarlet and Gray 25. Carsados looking, scrambling. He doesn't make it. He's 2 yards short as the Badgers alertly covered Carsados at the 28. Tim Jordan, the outside linebacker for the Badgers, who leads the conference in quarterback sacks, made sure Carsados did not get the yardage necessary for the first down, and Tupa's on to punt it.
Well, a dejected Earl Bruce is looking out as this offense seemingly cannot make the plays today thus far, and Tom Tupa needs to get off a great punt here to reverse the apparent field position advantage that Wisconsin may gain.
Tupa with the wind at his back. That's the best one he's hit today. It sails to the 32. Wisconsin fair catches. 40-yard kick for Tupa, below his average. Paul, does the wet football make it a little more difficult to punt?
I think it does. I've watched some of the professional punters have some problems this year with a slick ball in terms of placement of the ball on the foot, although...
does the ball get heavier?
Well, it can slide off of the foot, particularly when you're trying to place it. And, of course, that's when some of those punters hit a few of those shank punts that are not very agreeable with coaches.
Emery skirts the corner, and he's tracked out of bounds. Steve Hill came up to greet him. Steve Hill, number 11, who has spelled Terry White on defense for Ohio State today. Scott Leach has now checked into the Ohio State defensive unit. Emery already with 42 yards on the day so far. 9 minutes, 53 seconds remaining in the second quarter. Buckeyes down 6-0. Showing blitz. This is Artley. And the Buckeyes stalled that running play after a gain of only maybe a yard.
Good tough defense by the Ohio State forward wall as they stack things up against this big Wisconsin line. Larry Golick in there to make the hit along with Thomas Johnson and a couple of other Buckeye defenders.
Thomas Johnson has checked in. He and Spielman in the middle on defense. Third down and 7. Here comes the blitz.
Watch Chris Spielman come free right up the middle. He's got Howard, and then Greg Rogan, number 29, comes on for the kill, along with an additional Buckeye player. And it's a big play for the Ohio State defense, and they needed one.
And it's a very poor kick. The Buckeyes will get the football at the 40. Sapicki dejectedly trots off, Paul.
Well, this Wisconsin kicking game is a fine one, but Sapicki just hit a 17-yard punt. Another look at this big play. Chris Spielman, number 36, is the first to get on to Mike Howard. Then Greg Rogan comes along to put him down. Number 55, Ray Holloman, goes over the top. It is a big play for the Buckeye defensive unit, something that the Buckeyes need to ignite this team and get some fire under it.
Spielman's 5th tackle for a loss this year, as he's at the 100-yard figure, or 100 number on tackles this season. This is Mike Lanise. As Lanise took the pass under coverage, gained 6 yards before being tackled by Charlie Foley.
The tackle on the play by Charlie Foley.
2nd down coming up for Ohio State and 4.
Play action pass. Mike Lanise will come underneath the coverage, skimming the line of scrimmage, takes the low pass, turns upfield. Mike Foley, number 42, makes the stop. It's a nice game for the Buckeyes, about 5.5 yards. Puts them in an ideal situation where there's 2nd and 5.5 or 2nd and 4.
Mitch Workman is checked in. Carsados lobbing it for Carter. It is no good. Out of the end zone. Coverage by Pete Noka. Carter may have been looking for the football over the other shoulder. It's incomplete.
Carsados throwing the ball back to his right. This time throws over the right shoulder of Chris Carter. He had turned to the left. Number 8, Pete Noka, was there, almost got to the point to make the interception.
Vince Workman was available about 7 or 8 yards downfield as he was uncovered. And it's 3rd down.
Carsados will have to go back underneath the coverage. He's thrown deep a couple of times now, and so he may want to look for Workman in the backs underneath.
Buckeyes must get to the 31. Johnny Woldridge is being chased, and it's a huge loss back at the 43-yard line as the Badgers smelled it out. A host of white-shirted Wisconsin people were waiting on Woldridge's sweep.
Badger defense playing very inspired. They're across the line of scrimmage. John Woldridge simply has no place to go. He has to turn reverse field, and when he reverses field, there is a host of white jerseys there, led by number 21, Rob Johnson.
6 minutes and 48 seconds left in the 2nd quarter. Tupa, whose longest has been 40, will try to knock one out inside the 10. Oh, he kicks it high and short. Fair catch at the 19-yard line. So the Badgers get out of that in much better shape than you might have thought.
Not a great punt by Tom Tupa. Badgers, Tim Fullington actually made a fine running catch, a little bit daring, but it gives the Badgers decent field position to operate at the 19-yard line.
1st down, Wisconsin at the Badgers 19. This is Emery right up the gut, and he's smacked down at the 25 by Thomas Johnson, who leveled him.
Tackled by Chris Spielman and Pepper Johnson. And 6.
Larry Emery on a misdirection play. As you see, the flow goes one way. He takes the handoff, goes back another, finds a nice hole, skirts up in there, but number 98, Thomas Johnson, is waiting off the line of scrimmage and pounds him pretty good.
Emery missed 5 games last year. This is Artley slipping outside left tackle, 1st down to the 32-yard line.
Tackled by Chris Spielman.
Spielman dragged him down, but it's 1st and 10 Wisconsin.
Again, the Badgers showing you the big muscle that they have up front, left side of the line, creating a nice hole for Artley, the freshman, to go through there. Artley showing you his power and strength as he drags a couple of OSU tacklers as he gains good yardage and a first down.
Badgers must reach the 42 for a first down. Line of scrimmage, the 32. This is Emery into the clear. Nice open field tackle by Sonny Gordon, who limited that play to about a 6-yard advance. It appeared as though Emery had a lot of real estate out in front of him, and Gordon, nearly out of nowhere, made a neat tackle on him.
Again, great blocking up front by the Wisconsin line. Emery skirts through there. Sonny Gordon comes up from his secondary position, nice in, and stops Emery just at the point where it looked like he was going to make even more yardage.
This is Artley. A big hole to the 50 for Marvin Artley, the freshman fullback who's spelling Armentrout, who's out shaken up. Hill and Gordon made the tackle on Artley.
Watch the push of this Wisconsin offensive line as they create the avenue for Artley to go through. Rogan takes a stab at him, misses him. Leach and Gordon in the secondary. These backs are starting to run into the secondary. As we said so many times before, Jack, you don't want your secondary backs to make all the tackles. Artley, 6 rushes and 27 yards.
Brian Bonner has checked in for Wisconsin in the backfield, and we have a penalty flag, a procedure call against the Badgers. Your officials today: referee John Nealon, umpire Dan Davey, head linesman is Mark Baltz, line judge is John Everett, field judge Tom Bryan, side judge is Glenn Fortin, back judge Mike Nevin. Last year, Mark Harrison rambled for over 200 yards against the Bucks. It's not Harrison this year, but the Buckeyes are getting a taste of that good Wisconsin running game in the person of Emery and a little bit of Artley thrown in there.
Well, they've got the runners, and they certainly have the fine offensive line, and Buckeyes have got to figure out a way to stop this potent run attack.
Howard, quarterback draw. This time he is stacked up at the line of scrimmage. Darrell Lee bear hugged him. As we approach the 4-minute mark, first half, Badgers 6, Buckeyes nothing.
Not a particularly good situation here, 1st and 15 for the quarterback draw play as a call, and the Buckeyes have already seen it once before, and they're waiting for it. Eisman, number 61, helps Darrell Lee, number 95, make the stop on the play.
Each team has 1 timeout left in the half. 2nd down and 15 for Wisconsin. Bonner and Emery in the backfield. Play action to Emery. Howard shoots it down the middle. No one's there. The tight end, Sharon, was the nearest Badger to it. Steve Hill was in the area.
One of the problems Howard has had, because he sustained a separated shoulder on his throwing arm, is there have been instances when he sees a receiver open, and that time he had Scott Sharon open down in the middle of the Ohio State coverage. He will attempt to throw that ball very fast, and he just doesn't have the arm strength to get it there.
3 minutes and 35 seconds left in the half. Clock stopped. 3rd and 15 for Wisconsin. This is Emery. He skipped forward for about 3, and that was it. Thomas Johnson tied him up right there, as did Derek Eisman. So the Buckeyes will get the football back with about 3 minutes left in the half.
Badgers electing to go conservative in that particular call, going to kick the football to Ohio State, feeling that they will gain field position, and hopefully their defense, I'm sure that's what Dave McClain is thinking, will be able to stop Ohio State's offense and maybe even get better field position for one final try before the half.
Here's the kick by Sapicki. Fair catch, Lanise at the 14. Well, the Buckeyes are 86 yards from the end zone. Have nearly 3 minutes, just a single timeout left, however. 38-yard kick by Sapicki. Well, as we mentioned earlier, Paul, the Badgers won the toss to start the game, deferred choice till the second half. In all likelihood, Wisconsin will receive the football to start the third quarter. Buckeyes would like to make hay here with this possession. This is Woldridge. Woldridge raced to the 27, first down Bucks.
Jim Carsados, who has thrown deep on several occasions now deciding to be a little bit more patient, go underneath, and take what the defense is giving him.
Buckeyes in their hurry-up attack. Craig Raditz made the last tackle for the Badgers. Carsados with time. Taggart's available. A gain of 4 to the 31. 2.5 minutes to go. Second quarter. Badgers 6, Buckeyes nothing. Second down coming. Carsados calling plays at the line of scrimmage. Johnny Woldridge on the draw for a couple, maybe a 3-yard advance as he got behind a surge of Buckeye linemen and pushed out to the 35. Third down coming, 2 minutes left in the half. Michael Reed made the tackle for Wisconsin. He had help from Charlie Fawley. Carsados sneaked forward and he picked up 2, very close to a first down.
Jim Carsados going solo on the quarterback sneak, following center Bob Maggs and left guard number 68 Jeff Uhlenhake. Appears to have the first down. There is a measurement. Now the clock will stop. Buckeyes probably have called a play already and will go right back to the line of scrimmage if they've gotten this first down.
First down Buckeyes at the 37. Ohio State with a timeout left. 1:44 to go. First half. Carter split right, Lanise to the left about 12 yards. Carsados to Woldridge, he juggled, and then the ball was popped loose. Let's see if it's going to be ruled intercepted or incomplete. The Wisconsin man caught the rebound. He may have been juggling it as he hit the sideline. It's no good.
Well, that was a very big break for the Buckeyes, as that Wisconsin man was not able to hang on to the football, at least while it was in bounds of play. Carsados dealing the ball off to John Woolridge, who doesn't have it under control. He is hit with a jarring tackle. The ball pops up in the air, out of the view of the screen. Wisconsin player number 59, Dick Teets, comes by, makes the catch, but he does not make the catch in the field of play.
Boy, Dick Teets would like to have picked that one off, Paul. He is an Ohio man, hails from Maumee, Ohio. Carsados slings it down the middle. Carter catches the deflection. Buckeyes get a break here.
Big break. Jim Carsados really gets away with something as he just barely gets this ball off the fingertips of Charlie Fawley into the hands of Chris Carter. Charlie Fawley is the leading interceptor for the Wisconsin Badgers. He's already picked off 3, and he certainly would have loved to have had number 4 there.
Carsados looking. Taggart's open. He hightails it out of bounds, stopping the clock at the 37-yard line. Stopping the clock at 1:11, I should have said.
Buckeyes doing a very good job of making good use of the clock on this particular drive. Have now moved into Wisconsin territory at about the 37-yard line. Still are moving, and yet they have 1 remaining timeout.
The play gained 8 yards. Second down 2. 1:11 left in the half. Carsados airing it out for Carter. Touchdown!
perfectly thrown spiral by Jim Carsados as he leads the receiver Chris Carter perfectly on this corner pattern. Watch this ball thrown right into Carter's hands over number 17, Troy Spencer. Big play for the Buckeyes. They're back in this ball game as it is tied at 6-all.
Rich Spangler, who's missed just one extra point this year, is on to attempt to give the Buckeyes the lead, 7-6. And he does. Ohio State leads. 1:05 remaining in the first half. Buckeyes are on the scoreboard and on top.
Well, Jack, the difference is when you have a ball club like the Wisconsin Badgers, they can take time off the clock and they can control the action, but if they don't put the big points, in other words, the 6 pointers on the ball, on the scoreboard, they're always vulnerable to a big play like this big play that occurred with Carsados going on top to Chris Carter. Long pass, perfectly thrown football right into the hands of Chris Carter. Perfect catch by Carter as he makes it over Troy Spencer for the 6-pointer. Point after was made by Rich Spangler. And as I was saying, Jack, one play, one big play, when you have the ability to quick strike like Ohio State does, can put you on top of a ball club like Wisconsin if they just keep putting 3 points on the scoreboard.
Carter, the sophomore from Middletown, puts the Buckeyes on top. And that touchdown throw from Carsados to Carter gives Jim Carsados 18 in his career here at Ohio State, as he has just surpassed Art Schleister's 17. Carsados and Schleister were in a dead heat following Jim's 3 touchdown strikes a week ago. And Carsados now has the career touchdown mark throwing among Ohio State quarterbacks, as he's just leaped ahead of Art Schleister. Carsados has thrown 18 touchdowns in 204 attempts. That's a season mark, 18. That's a new all-time high at Ohio State, 18 in a single season, as Carsados has just gone ahead of Art Schleister. The kickoff is 5 yards deep, and the Badgers won't bring it out. So 1:05 are left. 65 seconds remaining, and the Badgers have it at the 20. Buckeyes needed quick points, and they got it, Paul.
Certainly did. 8 plays, 86 yards, 1 minute 52 seconds with a 37-yard bomb from Jim Carsados to Chris Carter. I don't want to belabor this point, but again, I'd just like to say that a ball control offense is all right as long as you put 6 points on the ball on the scoreboard every time you go in. It means nothing to put 3 pointers because one big play can beat you.
Emery on the sweep for about 5.5 across the 25-yard line. Rogan on the tackle. Steve Hill was also there. Emery only stands 5'9", but he's able to hide himself back there behind the blockers. The linebackers can't seem to find him, Paul.
Wisconsin always seems to specialize in small backs, at least small in stature, but certainly they have a lot of heart in running. Last year was Mark Harrison, who was from Columbus, Ohio, who had a big day against the Buckeyes, rushing for a little over 200 yards. And, of course, this year it is Larry Emery who's having a good day up to this point and helping Wisconsin to accomplish what they'd like to accomplish.
Steve Hill, the Buckeye, on his back at the 24-yard line. He's up on his feet. He's all right. "50 seconds left in the first half. Buckeyes lead by a point, 7-6. Mike Wood has checked in for Hill. Terry White has not seen action. It's been Hill and now Wood for Terry White today, back at that safety position. Twisted down just across the line of scrimmage. Byron Lee wrapped him up. 20 seconds left in the half. Buckeyes lead it 7-6. Badgers appear to be lining up for one more quick play. Artley barrels outside right tackle, short of a first down. 2-1. There is a penalty marker. There is a penalty marker, perhaps a late hit against the Bucks. The half of the game can end on a penalty, so we'll see another play. We do have 2 ticks left.
Hartley, as you see, is running the football. He's hit by Byron Lee. He brought down, his knee touches. Thomas Johnson, number 98, comes in a little bit late and is nailed for the late hit on the play.
Had the clock run out, we would have had one more play because we can't end the half with a yellow flag. But we do have a couple ticks left. Badgers are short of the 45.
It'll be interesting to see what Wisconsin does, whether they just play out the string and are content to go in down by 1 point and knowing they'll get the ball back, or if they try to just even try to score on this play. You know that Mike Howard has had the bad arm all year long and has had problems throwing the football, so they may be reluctant to throw in this situation.
Yep, another penalty. Movement along the line of scrimmage against the Badgers. Nope, a delay signal as the play clock had expired. That was the reason for the 5-yard assessment against Wisconsin. Buckeyes certainly don't want to incur a penalty on this play. Howard is tackled by Holloman as the first half ends. No, it's who's got the football? Marvin Artley wound up with the ball in the left flat as Artley scooped up the loose ball. Buckeyes corralled him at the 50, and the half closes. The Buckeyes lead Wisconsin at intermission 7-6. That's the end of the first half. We'll be back with more Ohio State football in a moment.
Broadcast and production of Ohio State football is provided in part through a funding grant from City Loan Bank of Lima, Ohio. Member FDIC.
All right, so what I'd like for you to do is to step out of the car. I have some tests I'd like for you to perform today.
If this driver is drunk, he may still be able to walk a straight enough line to give the officer pause. But his eyes won't lie if the officer gives the driver a simple alcohol gaze nystagmus test.
Well, alcohol inhibits the controlling mechanism from the brain to the eyes, and the eyes lose part of their smooth movement capabilities. The eyes are not able to lock onto a target as well. They show intermittent movements where before they would be nice and steady.
These Ohio State University optometrists have been drinking heavily this day to put the gaze test to the test. Their eyes are checked and measurements are taken before, during, and after the drinking binge. Results show eye movements getting more jerky and jumpy with more alcohol, confirming the validity of the test.
The alcohol gaze nystagmus test is merely another item that the officer looks at roadside. We're not going to base all the weight on whether or not we make an arrest on this test. What we're going to do is we're going to use it for probable cause, along with the person's driving, along with the person's coordination, and it just gives us one added extra item for us to look at to make that decision on whether or not to make the arrest.
Like the Ohio Highway Patrol, many state law enforcement agencies now use the alcohol gaze nystagmus test to help decide whether to take a suspect in for a blood alcohol test. As word of the gaze test spreads, expect more local police agencies to adopt it too. This is Al Stavitsky reporting.
Broadcast and production of Ohio State football is provided in part through a funding grant from City Loan Bank of Lima, member FDIC, with offices throughout the state of Ohio.
It's halftime at Ohio Stadium. The Buckeyes lead the Badgers 7-6. And hello again, everybody. I'm Jack Kramer, along with Paul Warfield here at Ohio Stadium in Columbus. The Buckeyes lead by a point. Bucks are out to extend to 21, the nation's longest home win streak. Paul, it's been an uphill struggle so far. Perhaps the Bucks have taken Wisconsin a little lightly. Offensively, Buckeyes sluggish. The first excitement for Ohio State today was shown by the defense.
And here's the play right here that turns it around. A big blitz in which Mike Howard was thrown for a loss. Key players on there were Spielman, Rogan, and Holloman. And this is the big play offensively. Jim Carsados dealing a 37-yard touchdown scoring strike right into the hands of Chris Carter. Carter making the catch. That put the Buckeyes up in this ball game by a score of 7-6. Of course, the extra point was made by Rich Spangler. So it's been a sluggish first half, but the Ohio State Buckeyes came to life towards the end, Jack, and it took a big play. Basically, our offense has been stymied most of the day. However, Wisconsin has done just about what they've wanted to do, and that was control the football. And Wisconsin may have fell a little bit short in terms of putting points on the scoreboard, but they're only 1 point down, and they still are very much in this ball game. And if they can come out in the second half and do the things that they did in the first half, only put 6 pointers on the ball on the scoreboard, I have a feeling that they'll feel very good about where they're going in the second half.
Well, as you have highlighted all year long, Paul, the Buckeyes have made the big play when they've had to come up with it. They're not at the top of the Big Ten in any one statistical category. They're far from the bottom as well, but they have made the big plays at crucial moments in the football games. And Wisconsin, which deferred choice after winning the toss at the start of the game, will receive to start the third quarter.
Well, certainly Wisconsin would have been in a much better position had they been able to keep the Buckeyes off the scoreboard, but they're only 1 point down now. They can still go back to their very same game plan, which is ball control and keeping it away from Ohio State.
And because the Buckeyes have got to kick off, that touchdown they scored late in the second quarter was mighty important. Badgers had the first down lead in the opening 2 periods, 11-6. In total yardage, a bit closer. Buckeyes trail by 22. There have been no turnovers. If you think that you saw a hint of sunlight a few seconds ago, you're right. You're not seeing things. Sun shining here at Ohio Stadium as Spangler booms it down inside the 5-yard line, and it goes to the sideline out of bounds at the 1. Oh, did that Badger take a gamble down there? As Spangler punched the kickoff into the corner out of bounds near the pylon, the Wisconsin man risked an Ohio State recovery. Gosh, if that ball would have slowed down and stopped in the field of play, Buckeyes might have had a huge break.
Well, it was quite a gamble by the Wisconsin return man. He waited and waited and waited, and finally the kick of Spangler's did go out of bounds. But Rich Spangler is kicking south towards the open end of the stadium into a very exceedingly strong wind at this point. The wind certainly will be a factor here in the third quarter and perhaps even in the fourth quarter when the Buckeyes have it to their back. It will be imperative for Ohio State's defense to play extremely well and keep Wisconsin off the scoreboard in this particular quarter. As you can see, the flags at the top of the scoreboard down there at the south end, they are really blowing from south to north direction.
Spangler kicking off to Fullington again, who doesn't make the mistake a second. Oh, he boots it. Badgers recover at the 20. was about ready to say, Paul, that Fullington was not going to make the mistake a second time on the Spangler kickoff. He did make a goof, but one of a different nature.
Well, Fullington appeared to be setting up the reverse, and he just could not come up with the handle on the football. It's almost trying to, like, walk and shoot them at the same time. Maybe you can't do that many things, but Wisconsin got a big break.
From the split back formation. Counter play, Buckeyes smell it out. Derek Eisenman, number 61, the 6'3" freshman from Fremont, gets the Buckeye defense revved up in the first play of the half.
Buckeye defense coming out here in the first half and starting to respond. Derek Eisman, number 61, is just anchored right there on that corner, fights off a block, and waits for Larry Emery to come right into his awaiting arms and takes him down solo. Big play for Ohio State. Defense starting off here in the second half in a hurry.
Second down, 14, following the setback of 4. Perhaps an audible by Howard. The pass for Sharon was short of him. And as you remarked in the first half, Paul, that shoulder could be giving Howard some trouble.
Well, Howard has been playing quarterback now for the last couple of weeks after coming off of the injured list. But from all indications, that throwing arm is not quite right as of yet. And we've seen in a couple of instances, particularly in the first half and now in the opening pass here in the second half, that when he has to hurry to make a throw, he's a little bit short.
3rd and 14, Howard slips it short. Oh, Larry Kolek belted the receiver, and Wisconsin's got to punt it.
Outstanding series for the Ohio State defense. This time Howard back, looks down, dumps the ball short to his running back, Larry Emery. Larry Kolek is right there, and you're right, Jack. He really leveled him with a big hit.
The punt is away by Sapicki. Lanise lets it hit, and the Buckeyes will have to start near their 20.
A little bit different problem for Mike Lanise there, Jack, as he's looking up into the sun, and he wanted to get away from that football. First time the sun has been out in this part of the country for 16 days, and I'm sure it's posing a few problems for Mike.
So following the good roll, the Buckeyes are backed up at their own 16-yard line. Earl Bruce's Buckeyes up to the line of scrimmage. 2 receivers to the left. Johnny Woldridge pushes out to the 24 in advance of 3. Charlie Foley plugged up what small alley there was for Woldridge to run through. Craig Raditz assisted on the tackle of Woldridge. We've played 2 minutes now, the third quarter, and the Buckeyes lead 7-6. Garzados reels it up the left side. It is caught as Chris Carter on his back turned the underthrown football into a reception.
Well, we'll get a close-up of how Chris Carter did this. I can't really tell you because it's an amazing catch. He gets around into the zone area. Ball is thrown shy. He slips to the turf. Ball bounces off of him and right up into his hands, but he has the kind of concentration and the poise to make all kinds of catches.
1st and 10 Buckeyes at the OSU 28. Woldridge through a hole, darting for about 5 or 6. Dick Teets, the Wisconsin defensive tackle, was in there on the stop along with Charlie Foley. Second down and 5 coming up. 12 minutes left in the third quarter. Pitch to Woolridge. He's got an avenue. First down to the 45. Good piece of blocking by Chris Carter on this play.
Option play. Jim Carsados fakes to Cooper, now deals it off to Woolridge. Woolridge gets an excellent block. You don't quite see it from number 2, Chris Carter. Turns upfield, gets a lot of yardage. Buckeyes really doing a job now, running the football and throwing it when they have to.
Woolridge up to the 45-yard mark. And the Buckeyes, Vince Workman stretches out a 7 or 8 yard gain.
Nifty bit of running by Vince Workman following Cooper. Slides up inside, finds a crack, almost gets away. Number 42, Foley, is the only guy who's there to bring him down. Vince Workman almost broke that one for a big gainer.
George Cooper sliding off left tackle for maybe 1. It sets up 3rd and at least a couple for a first down. Nose guard Mike Boykins bottled up Cooper, as did Lance Brannaman, the defensive tackle. 10:30 left in the 3rd quarter. Buckeye head coach Earl Bruce has a winning percentage of .790. Best in the Big Ten in the last 7 years. 2 tight ends are in there, 3rd and 2. The pitch is to Woolridge, nowhere. A great defensive play by Troy Spencer, number 17.
This is an outstanding defensive play by number 17, Troy Spencer, who just really knifes up from his quarterback position. Carsados electing to go to the option to the left side this time. Will deal the ball off to Woolridge, but as soon as he gets it, he is struck by number 17 with a big hit for Wisconsin, and it stops the Buckeye drive that was starting to gain some momentum.
2-foot upon it. He'll kick it against the wind. And he sails it to the far side and out of bounds. And it's lined up at the 20, and that's where the Badgers will start, 1st and 10. The kick traveled just 29 yards, perhaps Tupa's poorest day of the season so far. And at 9:28 left in the 3rd quarter, the Badgers have their 2nd possession of the 2nd half, and it begins at the 20. This is Emery, and he is collared back at the 18-yard line. Mike Sullivan crashed in there. Sullivan, the freshman from Timberlake, Ohio.
Buckeyes really playing well along the line of scrimmage, just stacks it up. And here you see Emery has nowhere to go outside, then tries to cut back inside to find a hole. Nothing doing as he's met by Mike Sullivan, number 67.
89,773 now bathed in sunlight here at Ohio Stadium. Howard sprinting right, rifling it, man wide open is Scott Sharon, and he zips up across the 35 where the ground caused a fumble. The play is dead at the 36-yard line. Sharon lost it when he hit the artificial surface, so Wisconsin retains possession.
Scott Sharon has been the big receiver for the Badgers today, and this time Howard is rolling to his right, stops, sets up crisply, and fires into Sharon, who is wide open in the middle of the Buckeye zone. Sharon then hits the ball, skirts out after his elbow struck the surface. However, the officials had ruled the ball dead at that point.
1st and 10 Badgers. Hartley plugs away to the 40. He picked up 3. 8 minutes, 8 seconds left. Third quarter, Buckeyes by a point, 7-6 as the offensive line for Ohio State gets a rest. Gilmore, a senior. He's on the left, number 56. Second down, 7 for the Badgers. Larry Emery slashing forward for 5. Sets up third down and about 2.5. Chris Spielman and Mike Sullivan subdued Emery. Mike Sullivan, 67's got a twin brother, John Sullivan, 57 on this Buckeye team. They played high school football at Lake Catholic in Timberlake, Ohio. And their brother Mark Sullivan played on the Bucks in 79 and 80. Possession down for Wisconsin, third and nearly 3. This is Emery bucking forward for 2. He's short by a yard. And Wisconsin's punt unit comes on as the teams all kind of jockey back and forth for field position.
Well, it's a little bit difficult for the Buckeyes to operate here in the third quarter because they're going into a very strong wind and they can't do the things throwing the football that they'd like to do. And so if they can nullify the Wisconsin offense and keep them off the scoreboard, there'll be a big advantage for Ohio State as they go into the last and final period.
Sapicki punting to Lanise, as Paul so aptly pointed out earlier, must shield his eyes from the sun down there, and he just walked away from it, and the Badgers cover it at the 10.
Scott Sapicki's punt is down by number 77. First down, Buckeyes.
So the Buckeyes are backed up at their own 10-yard line. 44-yard punt by Sapicki. 6:16 remaining in the third quarter. Buckeyes lead by a point, 7-6. Cooper for 2 yards. George tried to spin out of the grasp of a couple Badgers. Did manage a couple. Lance Brannaman, Mike Boykins, Craig Raditz tied up Cooper after a 3-yard advance, 2nd and 7. 5:50 left in the third quarter. This is Carsados. Workman's available. Workman leaped for a first down to the 23-yard line. Workman filling in for Wooldridge, who's been pounded a couple times here in the second half. He's on the sideline.
Again, Carsados, after the play-action fake to Workman, will elect to go back to Workman underneath the coverage. Workman plants his feet, tries to shake. Troy Spencer, number 17, can't quite do it. First down for the Buckeyes.
Vince Workman sneaked his way for maybe 2 to the 25-yard line. We near the 5-minute mark. Third quarter, Buckeyes nursing a 7-6 lead. Workman, the 5'11", 187-pound freshman. Wisconsin's defense preparing for 2nd and 8. Carter split 5 left. Lanise 12 to the right. Penalty marker, fumble. Wisconsin may have gotten it. They did. The infraction may have been against the Buckeyes.
Infraction may have been called before the play may have been ruled dead. No, it was not. Badgers will have the football. It looked like it was sloppy ball handling between Carsados and the man he was trying to hand the football off to, and they just did not make the exchange. Carsados, as you see, does not have the ball on the exchange right there, does not really get it into Vince Workman's pouch, but it rather on his hip. And so a little bit of careless play at that point and another turnover for the Buckeyes, which Earl Bruce hoped that as of last week, with 2 turnovers in the ball game against Northwestern, it would end, could be costly in this instance.
From the 22-yard line, here's a sweep around the right end by Fullington. He's down to the 11 or 12-yard line as the wide receiver was sent into the Wisconsin backfield. He took the deep handoff on the reverse from Howard, and Fullington's got a first down at the 11.
Isolation on Tim Fullington, who is a wing back a lot of times and will run in this offense, taking the reverse, getting a good block out there on the outside, now turning the corner. Greg Rogan chasing him, gets as much yardage as he can. Hill comes over, number 11, and bounces him out of bounds. First down for the Badgers.
Larry Emery looking for a block. He's down to the 4-yard line. Good piece of running by Larry Emery, as he showed his good peripheral vision on this play.
Ground level shot of Emery taking the handoff. That's number 434, Artley, trying to get a block for him. Emery cuts off him very nicely, finds daylight, gets up inside into the Buckeye secondary. The ball is about at the 4-yard line.
Emery's run to the 4 leaves the Badgers 3 short of a first down, 4 from a touchdown. Emery gets the nod again to the 1. They have the first down. He's very close. Larry Emery, the Badgers' bread and butter, very near the 1-yard line and close enough for the officials to ask for the chain. Clock is stopped at 3:39, third quarter. First down, goal to go for Wisconsin.
Well, again, this is an area where Wisconsin may have an advantage. They have a big, strong offensive line. They've got 4 shots at putting it in from about 1-yard line, and the Ohio State defense is going to have to try to rise to the occasion here.
A full house backfield for the Badgers. Artley goes over. Touchdown, Wisconsin. It's 12-7 Badgers.
Again, Artley taking the handoff, going behind that big push of the right side of the offensive line. Artley, a big, strong back himself, bulls over for the touchdown to put the Badgers ahead 12-7.
Badgers will probably go for 2 here, leading by 5. They'd like to up the lead to 7. As they've received on the field some communication from the sideline.
Badgers are certainly in a situation where they really have nothing to lose. Only putting their season on the line, a winning season as opposed to Ohio State, possible Big Ten title chances.
Howard arches it into the end zone. It's batted away by Spielman. It was a poorly thrown ball. Even had Spielman not touched it, a Badger could not have received it. So the 2-point try goes for naught.
Again, the failed conversion attempt, as you see, Howard back in the pocket, receiving some pressure, throws the ball hurriedly into the corner of the end zone. Chris Spielman is the nearest receiver. Point after touchdown try, no good. Now here's the ground level shot of the touchdown to put the Badgers up 12-7. 34 Artley getting good push behind a strong side of the right side of the offensive line of the Wisconsin Badgers, and he just powers his way across the goal line in for the score.
So the Buckeyes are in position to regain the lead with a touchdown. They wouldn't even need to point after. They trail by 5, 12-7, with 3:25 left in the third quarter. As the Badgers were able to turn the tables on the Buckeyes, who all year long have capitalized on opponents' mistakes. Well, that touchdown by Wisconsin was the result of a miscue by Ohio State. The fumbled handoff from Carsados to Workman was turned into 6 points for the Badgers. And the kickoff with the wind sails on through the uprights. The Buckeyes will start at the 20. Following the fumble recovery, the Badgers needed just 4 plays to punch the football into the end zone. Buckeyes hope that the sun will shine on them here in the last 1 quarter plus. They're down 5. Carsados pitching one on first down. Woldridge for 10 to the 30. Craig Raditz and Mike Reed double-teamed Woldridge, 2 linebackers who had great games against the Bucks a year ago.
Jim Carsados shows great patience on this play. Originally, Woolridge was hemmed up before releasing and getting out, but he stays with him all the way and finally throws in the football. Woolridge makes the first down on the play.
2 receivers split left. Carter and Lanise. Vince Workman looking for a block. Gets 1, gets 2, and has 10 more yards. Just short of a first down. The Buckeyes quickly reel off 19 yards on 2 plays.
Good instinctive running by Vince Workman on this particular play following Cooper. At this point, it looks like Wisconsin has this play defense pretty well. Mike Lanise gets a block for him, and Workman cuts up inside the block and then makes some real good yardage. Buckeyes have it with 2nd and less than 1.
Cooper and Roman Bates now behind Carsados on 2nd and very short. Roman Bates gets the call and a 1.5 yards and a first down to the 42. 2:15 left in the third quarter. Buckeyes down 12-7. Stiff breeze out of the southwest. Buckeyes will have the wind at their backs in the fourth quarter. 2 minutes even left in the third period. Carsados with time, and he's sandwiched back at the 32. Excellent coverage in the secondary made that sack by Lance Brannaman possible.
Well, Lance Brannaman, number 68, over Larry Cotterman, slips him immediately and gets into Jim Carsados' face. Carsados simply does not have enough time to throw this football. A big sack that comes for the Wisconsin defense. Buckeyes were moving the ball pretty good at that point.
Buckeyes must get all the way over to the Wisconsin 48 for a first down. The line of scrimmage is the 34. Carsados has to throw now. A fine catch by Lanise. It's a first down. Boy, did Carsados thread the needle on this one.
Well, the Buckeyes got a little bit lucky here as the Wisconsin linebackers were in prime position, and that really looked like an interception. And all of a sudden, out of nowhere, comes Mike Lanise as you see him going in front of the Wisconsin linebacker, Craig Raditz. Mike Lanise running from his left side will be running a square-in pattern. He breaks down, now starts to break across the middle. There is Craig Raditz waiting for the interception, and you see Mike Lanise steals it away from him.
Johnny Woldridge with Cooper out in front of him. Johnny Woldridge to the 20-yard line.
John Woolridge Woolridge, longest run of the day. He's following George Cooper, number 44, gets a block to clear the corner for Woolridge. Now he's turned upstream, off to the races, getting as much real estate as he can, then is finally bounced out of bounds.
Woolridge now with 71 yards. He's on the sideline. Buckeyes have 1st and 10 at the 19. This is Roman Bates bucking down to the 13-yard line. 30 seconds left in the 3rd quarter. Clock moving. Craig Raditz made the last hit for the Badgers. Buckeyes with 20 seconds on the play clock. We're down to 12 seconds in the quarter. 2nd and 5. This is Cooper. Nice hole. He bounces down to the 11. And the quarter closes out. That's the end of the 3rd period here at Ohio Stadium. Wisconsin 12, Ohio State 7. We'll be back with more Buckeyes football in a moment.
You might move away, but you never really leave Ohio State.
I loved Ohio State every minute I was here, and I think I've loved it ever since.
I have really never had a bad experience at the Ohio State University. I truly enjoyed all of my student days there.
It has enriched my life to the nth degree, and always will.
Broadcast and production of Ohio State football is provided in part through a funding grant from City Loan Bank of Lima, Ohio, member FDIC.
It's the 4th quarter of Ohio State football. I'm Jack Kramer with Paul Warfield. Buckeyes knocking on the door of Wisconsin at the 11-yard line. A crucial 3rd and 2 coming up. Bucks trail 12-7. What do you call here, Paul?
Well, the Buckeyes have shown the capacity to move the football when they're determined to do it. And so it's not out of the question to go with the run, either to John Woolridge or, for that matter, to George Cooper. This is a must situation for the Buckeyes to have right here. A lot is riding on him, and so they ought to make it go.
Garsados, Cooper, and Bates in the backfield. Roman Bates is pulled down at the line of scrimmage. Fine penetration by the Badgers. It's decision time for Ohio State. Defensive tackle Scott Benschwall made the hit on Bates, who never got going. Workman coming in with a play. Buckeyes must reach the 9. Line of scrimmage the 11. 4th and 2.
Earl Bruce has a lot of confidence in his offensive unit, giving them another opportunity to make up the difference in this yardage and get a 1st down.
Buckeyes with 7 seconds on the play clock. Vince Workman does not get it. Wisconsin takes over.
Buckeyes call on Vince Workman to get the yardage, but there is absolutely nothing there. See the penetration of the Wisconsin white-shirted players? They are there in great unison with number 42, Charlie Foley, the guy who comes up and makes the stop, stopping Vince Workman short of a 1st down. The Badgers will take over.
14 minutes, 7 seconds remain. 4th quarter. This is Emery. He gained nothing as Chris Spielman pounced on him. Sonny Gordon was also there. Emery has been the Badger workhorse.
He's gained tough yardage all afternoon, Jack. Ohio State, although they haven't been playing with the great intensity defensively as they played in recent weeks, have limited Emery to basically short yardage.
This is Emery trying to turn upfield. He does for about 2 yards. Mike Sullivan was in his path. Darrell Lee assisted Sullivan. Emery was hopping along the line of scrimmage, couldn't find a hole big enough.
Well, for the first time this afternoon, there's 55 Ray Holloman nipping in his heels. Buckeye defensive men playing with great intensity as they're trying to keep the Badgers backed up down here in their own territory, because the Badgers are going into a very strong wind. If they can hold them here on this spot on the field and force them to punt, the Badgers probably will not get good field position out of the kick.
The pass is caught at the 20-yard line, a yard short of a first down. As Howard found a receiver, Emery in the left flat.
Mike Howard throwing underneath the coverage again, looking for his back. Larry Emery going to him. Emery will make the catch, but he is exactly a yard short, or a little less than a yard short of a first down. The Badgers will have to punt. The Buckeyes should obtain great field position from this punt.
Lanise is back at the OSU 40. Lanise, fair catching at his 41. It was Greg Rogan who covered Emery on that third down pass play, which fell a yard short of the first down.
Jack, that was an excellent punt with height and distance by Specky of 39 yards. It is a very stiff wind that he was punting into, and he did an outstanding job. One of the things that we said earlier in the ball game, you can always depend on Dave McClain's team employing an excellent kicking game, and that time the kicking game paid off for the Badgers.
Buckeyes going with a first down pass. Mike Lanise is on the run. A 16-yard pickup. Carsados to Lanise, who was raced out of bounds by Nate Odoms.
Carsados going again underneath to Lanise. Lanise is showing that he has great running ability. Last week, a 75-yarder. This time he does some nifty running, shows a stiff arm to Nate Odoms, who pushes him out of bounds. Big first down. Lanise today, 3 receptions for 42 yards.
Badgers giving up very little yardage as their stingy defense against the run stops Woolridge after about a 4-yard advance. Charlie Foley pulled Woolridge to the turf. 11:23 left in the fourth quarter. 12-7 Badgers. Woolridge has reached 75 yards on the day. After a slow start, he's been coming on strong. Play action. Nice catch by Carter. First down. Go! He's on the loose.
Jim Carsados on the play action fake. Gets pressure from the outside from Jordan. But he deals the ball off to Carter, who almost appears to be down, but his knees had not touched. Carter breaks the tackle. Now he's down the sidelines, gaining as much real estate as he possibly can, is bounced out of bounds. Big play by Chris Carter exactly when the Buckeyes needed it.
2 Badgers were tugging at Carter. He stubbornly wouldn't go down. Bucks have a goal to go at the 8. Woolridge needs a block. He can't find one, but he manages to get to the 3. As Woolridge simply outlegged the Badgers' pursuit.
Buckeye offense starting to come alive now. All it takes is a big play here or there. Carter ignited it the play before. Now John Woolridge following blockers. Doug Smith, 49. Also, George Cooper, 44. The play is strung out, but Woolridge just follows the blockers until an opening occurs and gets as much yardage as he possibly can before being knocked out of bounds.
Second down from the 3. Two tight ends have been employed. Fumble. Wisconsin's got it. The defense cannot advance the fumble. The Badgers have possession at the 4-yard line. Mike Reed recovered the fumble. So the Buckeyes, who did not turn over the football via a fumble in the first 8 weeks, have done it 4 times this week and last.
This is the second time Roman Bates does not handle this football. It's bouncing right on the ground and up and into the arms of number 52, Mike Reed, who starts off with it. But the rule in college football is that you cannot advance a fumbled football. So the Badgers will take over on the 4-yard line. Ohio State, after playing so magnificently during the first part of the year in terms of not making the errors, have made the errors today that have hurt them at crucial times.
This is Emery slicing out to the 11-yard line. He picked up 6. 9:34 left, fourth quarter.
Too much yardage on that particular play, although it was a misdirection play, kind of a deceptive for the Ohio State defense. The Buckeyes need to pin Wisconsin down right here at the 10-yard line so that they can recapture field position and start their offense again.
This is Emery. Emery high-stepped his way out to the 16. He's got a first down for Wisconsin.
Momentum seemingly, Jack, starting to shift a little bit as the offensive line of Wisconsin again is rising to the occasion to knock people off the ball and get first downs.
9 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Buckeyes trail by 5, 12-7. First down and 10, 17-yard line. And the Badgers are carving out holes in that Buckeye defensive front. As on that play, the replacement for Emery, Steve Vincey, picked up about 8 yards.
Vincey doing the running here, doing as good a job as Emery as he finds a crack in the Ohio State defensive line. He makes up a big 8 yards. That's too much on first down. Thomas Johnson made the stop. Ohio State has got to play better defense on first down.
And as the Badgers have done on at least 3 occasions today, they move again along the line of scrimmage before the snap and are penalized 5 yards.
We saw on another occasion where the penalty had hurt them before, and it's going to hurt them again. This situation, Wisconsin's got movement initially, even before quarterback Mike Howard is set. And that throws it back another 5 yards. And so where it looked at second and about 2 or 1, it is now second and about 7.
8 minutes left in the fourth quarter. Clock running. Buckeyes were blitzing, and they subdue that running play at the line of scrimmage. Darrell Lee was one of the Buckeyes along that formidable wall.
Chris Spielman, as you see, 36 is there right at the snap, blitzing from his linebacking post. Inside linebacker, a little bit of a gamble by the Buckeye defenders. Darrell Lee made the stop on the play, but it's a good call from up top in the Ohio State press box the blitz in that situation, Jack, Wisconsin is trying to play the conservative game and just use time off the clock.
7 minutes, 8 seconds left. 3rd down and 7. Howard looks to pass. He throws it short as the Buckeyes were tugging at his sleeve. Ray Holloman nearly sacked the quarterback. Reginald Tompkins, the intended receiver, but the pass far shy of the mark.
Fake blitz by the Buckeye inside linebackers. Howard now back in the pocket, beginning to feel the pressure of 55. Ray Holloman has him in his grasp. He still gets the ball off, but throws it into the dirt.
Byron Lee being helped up.
Byron Lee has had problems, Jack, last 2 weeks with a sore Achilles tendon on his right leg, and perhaps it may be acting up on him late in this ball game right now.
Byron Lee and Larry Kolick and Pepper Johnson are members of that defensive unit who graduate. 4th down, Badgers to punt. Lanise under it at the 41, and he goes out of bounds at that point. So the Buckeyes are 59 yards away from pay dirt. 6 minutes and 47 seconds remain. Each team with 3 timeouts left.
Again, Sapicki on another impressive punt, kicking into a very strong wind again. He is getting the job done. Another 39-yard punt with great height and also distance. You couldn't ask for better punting under the circumstances.
Good coverage, no return. From the 41, 1st down, Ohio State. Corsados hit Taggart with a bullet. He coughed it up. Another fumble. Badger football. A Buckeye and a Badger are sitting on the football at midfield. It's been signaled Wisconsin possession, and it is.
Ball takes a lot of strange bounces. Corsados back in the pocket. He's looking underneath for Ed Taggart. Hits him, but he is hit instantly. The ball pops up and away from Taggart and recovered by Wisconsin. The Badgers in great field position. They have moved the football well here in the second half, but this by far in the 4th quarter is their best field position starting an initial series.
6:41 left. Oh, the tackle is made on Vincey behind the line of scrimmage. Chris Spielman met the tailback solidly for a loss of 3.
Chris Spielman comes out of nowhere, blitzing from his linebacking position. Again, the gambling defense, but it pays off as he stops Vincey behind the line of scrimmage. Big play for the Ohio State defense.
Second down coming up, about 13 to go for a 1st down. The Badgers must reach the Ohio State 38. 3 seconds in the play clock. The Badgers just got the play away as Vincey knifed forward for a couple. It'll be 3rd and 11. Badgers content to just use the clock, keep it on the ground, relying on their defense at this point to win the game.
The fatal mistake that the Badgers could be making instead of trying to move that ball in a position to get more points, because they only have a 5-point lead. We've seen Ohio State go on top of the Badgers by 1 point with the big play. The Buckeyes certainly have that capability in their arsenal and the wind to their backs in this quarter.
1 receiver left, 1 flank 4 yards to the right. 5 minutes, 12 seconds to go. A big 3rd down pass coming up by Howard. He's sacked. Who's got the football? We'll have to wait until they unpile. The Badgers may have gotten it back. A big break for Wisconsin. and the Bucks recovered, they would have had possession right there. Wisconsin now has the opportunity to punt it away.
Amazingly, the Badgers recover this football. Howard has a lot of time. It appears though he has a lot of time waiting, looking for a receiver, pointing. Now he takes too much time, and he is absolutely creamed by Byron Lee. The ball pops out, but Ohio State cannot come up with the big turnover.
Ray Holloman nearly came up with the rebound off the chest of the quarterback who coughed it up. That would have been a nice 20th birthday present for Mr. Holloman.
And it would have given the Buckeyes great field position, as they only have about 4 minutes, 56 seconds remaining on the clock. And the way that Sapicki has been putting this football into the wind, he obviously will back them up into their own territory.
Keep in mind, the Buckeyes scored in far less time than 4 minutes and 50 seconds late in that second period, when Carsados went up top, striking for Carter, who made a great over-the-shoulder catch en route to the end zone. Away, and it's a low boomer that hits inside the 10 and will be downed at about the 6 or 5. The kicking game and team defense
have beginning to become monotonous, but for the last 3 punts, we've said that man, number 18, Sapicki, has done a great job punting, and you couldn't ask for a better job than that last punt that rolled dead right out on about the 5-yard line.
The Badgers have earned a 5-point lead, 12-7. 4:46 to go in the game. Carsados to throw from his end zone. Lanise is upended at the 11. Buckeyes do have 3 timeouts remaining.
Carsados on the play action will go underneath to Mike Lanise, coming from left to right, underneath the coverage, catches the ball, but is upended by Nate Odoms, who hits him very hard. Mike Lanise, with a lot of poise, holds onto that football. He's the guy that Carsados will go to, certainly, in all possession situations.
Carter split right. Johnny Woolridge trying to pop it to the outside, but he's wrestled down for a loss. 4 minutes left in the game. Craig Raditz with a swarming tackle.
Craig Raditz, the guy who was the man of the hour last year up in Wisconsin, is the man of the hour right on that particular play. Throws John Woolridge for a loss. Buckeyes are now in a 3rd down possession situation. They're going to have to come up with a very big and positive play.
Line of scrimmage is just short of the 10. Buckeyes must reach the 15. 3:53. Clock stopped. We're late in the 4th quarter. Just as the Badgers have done 3 of the last 4 years, they are once again trying to deal a crucial loss to the Buckeyes. Buckeyes began their home winning streak after losing to Wisconsin right here 3 years ago. Carsados fires for Taggart, and he secures it at the 26. Taggart made sure that he didn't lose that football following the Badgers' hit from behind.
Carsados has 2 options here. He's looking downfield, scanning the complete field. All of a sudden, he'll step up into the pocket. He can run and make the first down here, but he elects to go to Taggart on the far sideline, who was hit instantly by Troy Spencer, but it is a Buckeye first down.
Carsados throws it away up the sideline, about 8 yards beyond Taggart. But a wise move by Carsados, who was being pressured, and he just dealt that ball to the sideline.
Wise move by Carsados, receiving great pressure right up the middle. Carsados eludes the pressure, then fires the ball away from all possible defenders, throwing the football away. Very smart move by Jim Carsados.
Despite being unable to get the Buckeyes into the end zone in this half, Carsados had thrown 12 completions consecutively before that incompletion. Carsados unloading for Lanise. It's overthrown. 3 minutes and 7 seconds left. Clock is stopped. Badgers leading 12-7.
Jim Carsados has made a lot of fine big throws, and certainly he hit Mike Lanise with the big ball or the deep ball last week at Northwestern. But in this situation, the most imperative thing is to make first downs. The Buckeyes have the clock in their favor. They also have almost all of their timeouts, 3 timeouts. They need to make first downs. There's no reason for them to be hurrying, trying to go for the deep ball here.
Carsados, 16 completions on the day, 1 touchdown strike. Down he goes. Lance Brannaman, the defensive tackle, hopped on Carsados and pulled him down.
Lance Brannaman, again, number 68, has been pressuring all day, makes a second sack of the day, going over Larry Cotterman, number 72. Carsados is tied up. He is thrown for a loss. The Buckeyes' season may well be riding on this play.
Trailing 12-7 with 2:49 to go. The Buckeyes are confronted with 4th down and 17.
This is really a big decision for Coach Earl Bruce, whether he should go for the first down or whether he should punt this football out of here. If he goes for the first down and doesn't make it, Wisconsin is definitely in field goal range, and they already have a 5-point lead. So it apparently looks like Coach Bruce is going to elect to punt this football because he feels that his squad can get it back within the allotted time on the clock of 2 minutes 49 seconds.
Tom Tupa will punt the football to Tim Fullington.
Wisconsin Badgers only have 1 man in deep. They're looking for anything, a possible fake if Ohio State would attempt that.
Tupa's best punt of the day by far. Buckeyes cover it at the 31. A superb kick by Tupa. 2 minutes, 40 seconds left in the 4th period. Buckeyes trail by 5 and must not allow the Badgers a first down on this series.
Tupa does respond with a great punt, 56 yards, pushing the Badgers back to their own 31-yard line. Buckeyes feel that their defense can stop the Badgers with 2 minutes, 40 seconds left on the clock. Of course, the Buckeyes have 2 timeouts remaining in the ball game, and they'll probably have to use one of those 2 or both timeouts in the series sometime.
That's a good point, Paul, because if the Buckeyes would not use a timeout, it might be down to near a minute when they got the ball back. Flags fly, whistles blow along the line of scrimmage. Five yards against the Badgers as they did not get the snap off before the 25-second play clock had elapsed.
Badgers have been caught for lack of organization and leadership by quarterback Mike Howard on 2 occasions today. They certainly didn't need it to that particular juncture. That makes it 1st and 15. The Buckeyes will be playing the run very tough here.
If the game clock were running, that might have been a good penalty, or at least you could have passed it off as a decent penalty, but the 25 seconds were only exhausted on the play clock. The scoreboard clock was stopped. Howard stays in bounds. Gains only a yard or 2 at the 26. Clock advancing down near the 2:25 mark. 2:15 left. 2nd down, 14 yards to go for a first down for the Badgers.
Buckeyes may attempt to allow them to run one more play and then expend a timeout after this second down play.
Badgers on the running play get about 5 to the 29. Larry Emery's replacement, Steve Vincey, has done some admirable running for the Badgers here in the fourth quarter. 3rd and 12 coming up. Clock stops at 1:47 following the Buckeye timeout. Their second of this half. They now have 1 left. Paul, you take a look at the scoreboard. The Buckeyes have out-totaled the Badgers by more than 100 yards, but as so often is the case in games of this import, kicking game, defense, turnovers. Take your pick.
Well, Wisconsin certainly has done the better job in the kicking game. They've gotten magnificent punting out of Sawicki here in this final period, in which you would think the advantage would be in favor of the Buckeyes because they had the wind to their backs offensively. But Sawicki has gotten off 3 great punts, 2 of 39 yards, then punted out of bounds on the 5-yard to push Ohio State back in its own territory each time that they got an offensive possession. Additionally, all year long, Ohio State has just played outstanding football and not turning over the football. Today, they've done it in 2 occasions, and it has hurt them significantly.
Badgers employ 3 wideouts to the right. This is Vincey, and he is stacked up by Fred Ritter, the sophomore from Eaton. Larry Kolick also put a charge into the Wisconsin running back.
Fred Ritter, 90, and Larry Kolick, 33 together. Jam up that running play, and it gets no yardage whatsoever. Buckeyes need a big punt return now.
And the Buckeyes have used their final timeout. Their full complement of 3 has now been drained. 1:39 to go.
It is imperative for the Buckeye front wall up there to get a good hold up so that Mike Lanise can fill this football and advance it.
Yeah, I'm sure the Buckeyes would like to have that 4th down and 2 all over again. When they went for it early in this half and didn't get it, 3 points at that time would look mighty good right now.
It certainly looms as a big, big play.
Badgers lead by 5 and will punt the football. 1:39 to go. And another excellent kick against the wind drives Lanise to the 23. And he just heads for the sideline to stop the clock at 1:31. And the Buckeyes have got to go 78 yards without a timeout and have 1:31 in which to do it.
The Wisconsin kicking game has simply been outstanding in this final quarter, and it has helped them to defense against the Buckeyes, and Buckeyes have operated in negative field position. For the most part, this is perhaps their best start in the last 3 possessions in terms of field position.
Carsados hits Wooldridge. Wooldridge would like to have stayed on his feet and gotten out of bounds, but he could not get to the sideline. Clock runs 1:18 to go.
Carsados throwing to John Woolridge after faking to him underneath. Woolridge goes down to the ground. If he could have kept his feet and gotten out of bounds, he would have been able to stop the clock, as you mentioned, Jack.
Mike Lanise over his head, off his fingertips. As Carsados' throw sailed a little high, Rob Johnston was in the vicinity. Lanise was available, but the pass just a bit off its mark, and it is 3rd and 5, 1 minute and a second to go.
Carsados had, along with Mike Lanise in that area, Ed Taggart farther out on the sidelines. If he could have gotten the ball to Taggart, he was open and could have stepped out of bounds.
Nate Harris has checked in. Harris and Carter, the wideouts. Carter is available at the 44-yard line. Clock is running. Now it's stopped as the chain is being advanced forward following the first down. Garzados has hurried up the offense. They're at the line of scrimmage, ready to go. Clock is running, 52 seconds left. And Garzados stops it with a pass over the head of Carter at the near sideline. 49 ticks remaining.
Jim Garzados actually had a little more time to throw the football. He could have completed that pass to Chris Carter, who was not being covered very closely, and Carter could have stepped out of bounds. They would have been able to pick up at least 3 to 4 yards on the play and yet stop the clock too. But on that instance, they didn't get anything. The only thing that they did positive was stop the clock.
Lanise is checked in now for Harris. Lanise split far right. Garzados throwing a bomb for Carter. Wisconsin broke it up.
Garzados going for Chris Carter, who's running a seam pattern down the middle. He also has his tight end, Ed Taggart, on the right, who is perhaps a little bit more open than Garzados because the free safety, Noka, gets back there in the area and battles Chris Carter for the ball. I want to go back to my other point on that first down throw, Jack. The Buckeyes are now looking at a 3rd and 10. They could have had a chance of completing that first short quick out with Chris Carter getting out of bounds and at least picking up 4 yards.
3rd and 10. Carter trying to elude the tackler, and he can't do it. It'll be 4th down and 8. Badgers nearly committed a late hit there on Carter. Clock is running down to 25 seconds. The Buckeyes will have to get 8 yards in a hurry, or this game will be over.
They'll have to get 8 yards and also stop the clock too.
15 seconds to go. Carter catches it. The clock will stop at 10 until the chain is advanced forward.
Now in this situation, Jack, he must simply throw the ball out of bounds quickly to stop the clock.
Clock is running, 7 seconds to go. Garzados slings it out of bounds and stops it at 4.
The Buckeyes will have time for one more play.
Next week, we'll be providing you coverage of the Buckeye-Michigan game from Ann Arbor. We hope you join us. Bucks down to 1 play. 3 receivers to the left, 4 seconds to go. Wisconsin leading by 5, 12-7. Garzados unloads a high bomb down the field for Doug Smith. It is broken up, and Wisconsin has pulled one of the biggest upsets of the season, knocking off the 3rd-ranked Ohio State Buckeyes 12-7. The 4th time in 5 years Dave McClain's Badgers have done the trick, knocking off Earl Bruce's Buckeyes. A final comment from Paul.
Well, it was the kicking game. Wisconsin came in with an idea of controlling the football, keeping Ohio State off the field offensively, but the big turnovers that Ohio State has been able to obtain from other teams was a factor here today. The 2 big turnovers resulted in direct scores for Wisconsin, and the Badgers do the trick again.
Well put. The Buckeyes had been winning games in part due to taking advantage of opposition mistakes and turnovers. Today, the Buckeyes made the